Hey, what is up guys? XD here back again with another video, and today's video I am going to be talking about mixing and mastering, and hopefully I can help you guys understand the whole process of mixing and mastering. A lot of people struggle with it, and I get all these questions on my social media, people asking me, dude, how do I improve in my mixing and mastering? How do I end up with better songs? My songs sound really good when I'm making them, but when I start to play them in different places, they start to really sound terrible. So I thought, you know what, instead of me showing you all the time how to mix and master, I would rather take this time to just explain to you exactly the process from start to finish, so you can kind of get a grasp of what happens when you're mixing and mastering. But before we get into that, I have a package that I want to unbox. And I know you guys know that I've been using this mic, this Audio Technica, on my channel for a really long time, and I love this microphone. But I feel like it's so inconveniencing when I have to do, YouTube videos and I have to record people or do music. Then I always have to do it back and forth between mounting this on like the mic stand and recording, and then taking it down so that I can do YouTube videos, because I usually use this little stand. I actually got a new microphone from Take-A-Lot here, and it just arrived, so I'm just gonna open it up and do an unboxing. So I got this one because it's easy to use. It's just plug and play. You just take it out and then just plug it into your computer through USB, and then Bob's your uncle, you start working. But this one is an XLR, so this one goes into a sound card or an audio interface only to work, because this doesn't come with a preamplifier inside, but this one does. So that's the difference if you didn't know. So let's just quickly unbox this box. Okay, so we have a shock mount, and I think the shock mount comes with a foam filter plugged inside there. I think they're trying to save space. And then I think this is the microphone in here. It's actually much smaller than I thought. Here it is. It looks so futuristic, man. It's so futuristic, and compared to my Audio Technica, it's basically the same size. It's basically the same size microphone like I've been using. And this one comes with some buttons over here that you can press up and down, because the preamplifier is inside. So it's good that they have, a volume switch. So I'm not sure exactly what more it does. I still have to read the manual and check. I'm going to be using this microphone in my videos. So I now basically have 3 microphones, because I have the one I've been using before, my old Audio Technica, and now I have this USB one, and I have the one I'm using right now, right here on me. And the point of this video was mixing and mastering. I know a lot of you guys have problems with mixing and mastering. So most of us, when we make music, we make our track and then we get it done and then it sounds good. So the first problem I think people always overlook when they're making music is, have you ever noticed that when you're making a track, like usually it takes you like an hour to like 2 hours, making a song, or even more. But what happens is, as you're making music, you start to feel like the song isn't as good as it was when you actually started it. That feeling is basically ear fatigue, because your ears get tired of listening to loud sounds the whole time. So that usually destroys the feeling that you had. And if you keep forcing it at that point, you will totally derail your whole production. So usually you want to take breaks. When you start to feel like you're no longer feeling the song, stop completely and then come back the next day or a few hours later and listen to the track again. So a lot of people have ear fatigue when they're working on their music, and that's the problem why a lot of people end up not feeling the music that they're making after, while they're actually still making it after a while. So that also comes into play when you're now getting into the mixing and mastering stage, because your ears are tired. So you cannot really hear everything correctly. So you start actually messing up your mix and messing up your master. So when you're trying to mix and master, just spend a day or 2 in between you having made the song, and then come back after a day or 2 to try and attempt your mix. You don't necessarily have to have only one mix or one master of a song. You can do different types of mixes and masters. You can have even 5 versions of the same song, and then what you can do is you can give to other producers and have them listen to that track to give you feedback, and make them, make them choose randomly which one they like the most. And then out of all these people that you send, I think you can figure out which one everyone kind of picked or kind of was more biased to. So that's basically what I would do. I would, go to my friends and be like, okay guys, I have this song I'm working on. I have 5 versions. Listen to them and let me know what you think, which one you think is the best. So I use that also to pick the best mix or the best master out of my track. So that's another tip you can do to, to work on your music and actually get a master or a mix that you think is good, because you can use other people's feedback to get to it. So usually when you're working on music, room treatment is important, especially when you're mixing and mastering, because it affects how you hear the music coming out of your speakers. So most people think that buying studio monitors or having a good set of headphones is gonna solve everything no matter where you are, but it's different. How I hear my music or how I hear myself while I'm in here, you can hear that there's echo because it's a big place. So if I start to play music here, I'm gonna hear it differently than I would hear it somewhere else where it's all padded up and there's room treatment and everything. So what happens with sound is that while I'm talking right now, my voice is going to hit on every surface that is flat and that is hard. So it hits the surface and then it comes back into my ears, or it will come back into the microphone or into your ear. So what you're hearing is coloration that is coming from the room. So that affects how you hear the sound. So sometimes your speaker might sound really boxy and sound really tinny, but then it actually isn't. But that's being caused by the room that you're in. That's why treatment is good, especially when you're now getting to the mix and master stage. This is why we have studios that are just built for mixing and mastering. And that's why people send their projects there, because they want it perfect. You need to figure out exactly where you want your music to go. Are you now on that level where you want your music to be on Spotify and be on TrackSource and be played at big venues and all of that type of stuff? If you're that serious and you're that gone with your music, you need to make sure that you get proper mixes and masters out of your music, which means you need to at least hire someone to do it for you so that your music comes out perfect. Because if you know that you still have to practice and you're not really happy with your own work, rather give it to someone else that'll do a better job than keep doing it yourself, and you keep trying and then you risk having your music come out there not sounding really good. I also do mix and mastering for people, and you can talk to me, you can talk to people. There's online services that also do that. You can pay a subscription, and then that every time you release a song, you send it to the online mixing and they do mastering, not mixing, so it's online mastering basically. Another thing with online mastering is that you need to also have a proper mix. So if you're good with your mixes and you just want mastering done, then you're gonna be fine with online mastering. But if you're not so good at mixing, online mastering is not really gonna give you the results that you want. You can still try and see if you can get something that you're gonna be really happy with. Mastering is really tricky, and it's the most trickiest part of music production. So as I said, try have different versions of your mix or of your master. Send it out to some of your colleagues that also produce. Have them listen to maybe 3 or 4 versions of that master of that track and ask them to choose. Do this with like 5 producers and then see which ones they pick. Because obviously all these producers are gonna pick maybe one out of, they're gonna choose the same 1 track or choose the same 2 tracks. Then you can decide, with those, which one is good, because you're basically demoing it out to people. And that's what people do, like in movies. They do screenings, private screenings, where they take a group of people, play the movie, check the reaction, and then they can know if they need to fix something or if the movie is ready to be out there in the public before everyone sees it. So this is basically a listening session that you might want to do with people, or just send it to them so that they can hear the music. And another thing is, if you want it to sound good in different places, maybe like with speakers, like a speaker like this, a mono speaker, and on phones and venues and all that type of stuff, you don't have to settle for the first mix and master that you do. What you can do is you can make your mix and make your master and go somewhere, like at a venue. If you DJ, you go out and play it and listen to it. And if you hear that there's a certain instrument that's not sounding right, or that's sticking out too much and whatever, you can come back to the mix and adjust it and go back again and check. And also go to different systems, like people with different studio monitors and stuff like that, and you go listen to your mix there or your master there, so you can check elsewhere, and then come back to your track and then, you know, adjust accordingly, you know, depending on what you have heard. That's referencing, so you can go at least reference somewhere else and listen to it before you put it out there, because I think a lot of people just make a track now, they mix and master it now, they want to release it a little bit later before they actually take time to sit with it and really, you know, work on the track. So I hope this is really helpful, guys. I thought I'd explain this so you get to understand exactly how the process works. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you've made it this far, I know some people don't like these talking videos. They just want to see me in FL Studio, and it's all good, but I feel like sometimes me explaining things will help you understand the process better and will make you a better producer, because I promise you, if you keep listening to other producers, you will actually learn much more than having, you know, seeing someone actually doing stuff. So shout out to you for, you know, watching this whole video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm gonna check you in my next video. If you're new here, remember to subscribe and drop me a like, guys, down below. I'm X and I'm out. Peace.